Yeah, so initially I just piggybacked on what YouTubers were doing. They were doing the pros and cons of living here and things to do and stuff
But the
like
one ingredient that they're missing is making sure that they're optimizing their website's performance by also embedding that same strategy that they're deploying across those social channels.
restaurants outside the neighborhoods. Here's neighborhoods around this school. Like there are sorts, but there's not like content saying, hey, these are the top 10 neighborhoods.
Welcome to Talk Lofty to Me. My name's Ernest Enriquez, your host. Today, we're going to have a special guest who is going to talk about SEO. He's been an expert in the industry helping agents on the Lofty platform dial in their SEO so that they can generate organic traffic and drive leads and stop wasting money on some of the big industry players out there. Today, we're going to unpack the real strategies agents are using to drive organic traffic with their Lofty websites. So without further ado, we have Chris Harden on the show today with us. Welcome, Chris.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about your SEO in 1 hour, how you've been helping agents build real successful strategies and deploy them with their Lofty websites.
Yes. So little background. I came from paid traffic. I did Facebook Messenger ads for listings for 7 years, and I got tired of getting shut down for random reasons. So I learned a new skill, and that's what got me here. So I got into SEO a couple of years ago, and I basically found content gaps because to compete, you need to have the goods, right? And having listings doesn't really make you any different because like right out of the box, everybody's website's the same. So you got to differentiate yourself by having specific information about you and your neighborhood and stuff like that. So what I did is I niched down on my town, and I figure if I can be the face of the town, then I can plug in anything I want. And that's kind of what happened with it. I was doing YouTube videos during COVID. I did ride along videos because that was kind of my way to learn the neighborhoods. It was like an educational thing, but I wasn't smart enough to have a call to action. So I built a website to house it. And by chance, like I figured all the rest of the stuff out.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good synopsis, right? Most agents, when you buy a solution, even like Lofty, you get this out of the box solution that is probably pretty similar to what everybody else has, whether they're on an agent subdomain or an agent website where they get the full SEO settings. I think that's really kind of a cool key identifier with what you're doing, where you're able to leverage that full SEO website and dial in specific strategies that you've actually used in your business to kind of get away from that traditional like pay per lead marketing and stuff like that. Tell us a little bit about like maybe some strategies that you identified early on that worked better than others as you kind of transitioned out of that paid world and into that more organic traffic world.
Yeah, so initially I just piggybacked on what YouTubers were doing. They were doing the pros and cons of living here and things to do and stuff like that. Some of them worked, some of them didn't. What I've found success in is getting into neighborhoods because, like, whenever you go deep into neighborhoods and be like, these are the restaurants outside the neighborhoods, here's neighborhoods around this school. Like, there are sorts, but there's not like content saying, hey, these are the top 10 neighborhoods in that school district. Are here neighborhoods within 15 minutes of this hospital. So I just kind of started thinking out of the box of like who are we trying to attract? If we attract doctors, they got more money, so they want master plan communities. So it's kind of easy. I can like pick 10 or 15 neighborhoods and then just repackage them as the solution. The best neighborhoods to retire in for downsizing, low maintenance, stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that's super cool because agents are kind of already partially away there, I guess you would say, with their content creation, right? Like they're on Instagram, they're on Facebook, maybe even YouTube, TikTok, and Snapchat, creating super local specific content around maybe local eateries, coffees, bakeries, things like that. But the one ingredient that they're missing is making sure that they're optimizing their website's performance by also embedding that same strategy that they're deploying across those social channels on their website. Because I think naturally the consumer behavior is that hey, I'm going to go to Google and search homes for sale, whatever area I'm in, like I'm looking to buy in, right? So there may be opportunities that agents are missing if they're not actually deploying these SEO strategies that you're talking about, where you're blogging about local neighborhoods, you're highlighting yourself and using keywords that are going to highlight yourself as that local expert.
Yeah. So what I do now is I use ChatGPT,
Mhm.
obviously, but there's a thing called deep research, and you can compare the top 3, top 5 websites and figure
Yeah.
out what is their content strategy. So I find the content gaps, and I literally come up with 100 blog posts. And by knocking them out one by one by one and interlinking them to each other, that's basically like a Trojan horse
Yeah.
with Google authority. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
they are a little bit, they're called long tail for people that are like somewhat in SEO. But
Hmm.
basically it's like a longer search phrase. It's very more specific, like best neighborhood for retirees in a city name. It's not just like neighborhoods in city name.
Yeah.
But
Now,
by
what separates, like a long tail from like a short tail keyword? I know there's a lot of people who might be listening to this that are maybe new to SEO. I know you teach a SEO in 1 hour course, which we have up here on the screen that they can scan that QR code to go and learn about. But just for like some snippets for the early adopters, people who maybe don't understand what they're getting into, what's the difference between like a long tail and a short tail keyword?
So long tail is literally like 5 or more words. It's more descriptive. And as you use chat GPT, you're more descriptive, right? Like you're
Hmm.
not just like buy a house where, Like it's more descriptive words is what long tail is. And what's cool about it is like now that stuff's popping up as recommendations in chat GPT and Perplexity and other platforms as you like build the authority out.
Yeah. And there is a right or wrong way to do this, right? So, I mean, of course, that's why you teach SEO in 1 hour. Um, I've actually seen the course myself personally, and I actually loved it. I saw some of the content that you have there, which is really cool. But, most people, when they think SEO, they think of it as like a dying breed, right? Most big marketers that want to just take your money and say, hey, man, I can generate you $5 lead, $8 lead, whatever the case might be, will kind of tell you SEO is dying, right? Where naturally it's not. I mean, as I'm analyzing the market, I'm seeing more of those like pre-digital aged days marketing strategies come back, like print farming. We have a lot of people using like Lofty Bloom and starting to do that print house farming or geo farming again. So with SEO, it might be something that's a lot of agents are shifting focus back to. It seems like, is that kind of what you're seeing on your side as well? Is a lot of agents wanting to get those SEO features?
A lot of them want to, but like people are either busy or they're distracted. So it's like you have to make time for it. But like
Yeah.
once you learn it or outsource it, like it's just naturally in your workflow. But ultimately, Google My Business is kind of a pain to get approved. A lot of people have problems with that. So
Oh
like
yeah.
when I recognized that, I was like, I gave up on that, and I was like, if I can get the top 10, I look smarter than these guys, and I look smarter than the paid guys. And then when I started looking at the click through rate, the number one spot gets like 40 to 50% click through rate compared to like the paid spot gets 2 to 3. That's a
Yeah.
huge return. You should figure that out. So that's kind
Yeah,
of
and
what.
I followed some of your posts like in the Lofty Success group and stuff like that. That Lofty users join, and I've seen and I've actually clicked on some of those links, and it amazes me with what you're doing with like the long tail, keywords and the SEO optimization. I guess what is one feature like with the Lofty SEO full websites? What's one feature that really stands out that helps you in your business and helps you help other agents as well scale with SEO?
What is one feature that y'all have?
They all have.
I would say that, I mean, with any platform, it's building out around that city.
Right. So like the service areas that you cover, things like that.
We're getting like very deep in it. Yeah, like don't pick 3, pick the one you live in,
Right.
or pick the one you want to be in. That's like right down the road, but don't have 3 squirrels. Like get one dialed in, and then you can expand and say cities around me, because cities around me is a big search.
Yeah.
And like you can dial that in and say what the price points are and then compare them. So basically, I'll say Woodstock versus Ackworth, Woodstock versus um, Kenton. You know what I mean? Like all of the 5, 6 cities around you, when you start comparing them, it's like easy wins, just stack, stack, stack.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen some websites where they literally have like every area in the MLS as an area they cover,
Yep.
which is probably not the right way to do SEO. SEO is really kind of detailed, specific, and if you want to get really good at it, you narrow down those areas that you're actually servicing. And it really is cool because it kind of aligns with like what we do with Lofty Bloom as well, which is where we make agents stand out as like a local market expert. But the really cool thing is that you're actually honing in on a niche. People ask me like in my personal real estate career, because, I've had a real estate license for over 10 years now, how I've actually sold so many homes in my neighborhood. And it's because I've only focused on my neighborhood, right? Like I
Right.
don't go outside of my neighborhood, especially, having my affiliation now with Lofty. I'm like, I don't leave my neighborhood because I got to be close to home, be close to the
Yep.
office. So I think it's really cool how you could actually do that with SEO and the Lofty SEO websites. Getting it attached to like the Google Search Console. I know we have our little checklist as well, which is probably something that as you're helping Lofty users, that's probably something that you go through and mark off and maybe add to, right?
Yeah, the Google Search Console is the easy button. That's
Yeah.
basically it costs Google money to crawl your website, and they're happy with the results now until somebody complains. So the Google Search Console is like the easy win of, hey, I created something awesome. Compare it to those,
Yeah.
and like literally, you can rank within hours.
Wow. And that's all just by, becoming localized, doing those keyword searches, everything that you help them do in your 1 hour in SEO in 1 hour, as you would say. So this is all stuff that they can go learn about if they want to scan that QR code, takes them to your actual page where they can learn about SEO in 1 hour. I think that's actually really cool. The other really cool thing about Lofty websites, and you might recognize this from your Google Search Console, is that we're indexing almost every single page that gets published on that website.
No doubt. All the listings are getting indexed. It would be nice if you could dial it in though. If there's some way that y'all could do it on your side and be like, cool, they're trying. Let's like open it up to the city instead of all over. Because I've had some that they're like, I'm getting leads, but they're like an hour away. So that's
Yeah.
something that we might could dial in with like the robot text or something like that. I know that's like nerdy and over most people's heads, but it would be pretty cool.
Yeah. Is that something that you teach in your SEO in 1 hour, or is that something that you offer as a service?
I definitely can help with that. It's not something that most people dial in. You know what I mean? It's on a server by server basis. So
Gotcha.
like with Lofty, it's on y'all's end. It's on the tech side.
Yeah, and I think our support could probably do that if you were to provide them with the text file.
Yeah.
So definitely something for our support to check out. But that's super cool how you're actually doing that, how you're scaling the SEO, how you're helping agents build their SEO out on our Lofty websites. Anything else that you would want to add, as far as like any advice for somebody, let's just say, who's trying to get into SEO? What are just like some tips and tricks that you'd be willing to share with those Lofty users, or even non-Lofty users looking at Lofty as a solution? I know they can come to you and get some consultation with no affiliation to Lofty. But what is one thing that you would tell them, about Lofty websites that maybe sets it apart from others, or that you found to be very, very beneficial in your business?
I would say the biggest thing that sets y'all apart is the indexing. So say we create 20, 30, 50 blog posts or pages, and then you have thousands, like 30, 40, 50, 70,000 pages
Yeah.
indexed. So like all of that is Google is like taking their confidence from your other content and saying, cool, we're going to give them more. So I would take that, whatever y'all are doing on that end, that's working.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen, and I've heard from agents where it's like, oh, I'm only getting my first page indexed or my homepage. So everything that's on my homepage is the only thing that Google crawlers actually see and can read about my website. Whereas, like I said, we're indexing all the listing pages, all your blogs. We're even giving you access to I believe, the metadata for you to be able to put meta tags on your blogs, as well as landing pages. So, I mean, we have a lot of control when it comes to the actual SEO capability and building that brand and establishing that SEO presence, amongst all the competition and saturation out there.
Yep.
So if you're looking and if you're listening to this again, if you want to, check out SEO in 1 hour with Chris himself, he has a full complete course around this. And he could also give you some consultation and have a consultation with you to discuss what your goals are and help you meet those goals on the Lofty SEO websites, and just SEO in general. So I think that's super cool, Chris. And thanks for joining us today. Any last words or anything you want to close with?
Riches are in the niches. Pick your city and go with it. You know what I mean? If
Yeah.
nothing else, pick a city.
Yeah. No longer the drink from the water hose method as most would presume or try and implement into their business.
Definitely not.
So, well, we appreciate your time today, Chris. Thanks for joining us on Talk Lofty. Appreciate all the insights. Again, if you want to schedule that consultation, the QR code is on the screen. Go ahead and scan that, and you can check out SEO in 1 hour with Chris himself, and get some more advice on how to implement SEO strategies that are working right now in this market with Lofty SEO websites. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.